Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. I'm Michael Chabot, and I'm here to tell you that there will always be challenges in life, and in some cases, like mine, tragedies. But human beings are resilient. All you need to do is make a decision today. Follow me on this journey to hope, and together we will live, we will learn, and we will grow. And hopefully, we will find some hope in every day. Welcome to my journey to hope. I'm not Superman. That's the title of this episode. Why? A really good friend of mine, he says, every day that you have to be Superman. And it's true, in some ways I do. Every day is a struggle. Every day I wake up with the, reality and realization that my daughter is gone. And it's hard. And it hurts. But I push through. I push through for myself, for my wife, for my kids. It's funny, I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about it, and I said to her, first and foremost, my wife and I do it for each other. We set the example for each other every day. We rise up out of bed when our soul screams to stay in bed with the covers over our head, And, it might be something in your life that you're struggling with right now. You could be going through a breakup in a relationship, a divorce. You could be having, struggles with your child. And, we all know raising kids is no easy task. Could be work, could be finances. You could wake up in the morning and say, I just can't face the day. But you can. You can face the day. You can be Superman. You can be Superwoman for moments of every day. And I'm going to teach you a little trick that I learned from reading an amazing book called The Alter Ego Effect. We're about a month into the new hockey season, and I could see some of my new players and even some of my returning players are struggling. It's not so much with their confidence, but I think they put too much pressure on themselves. And it's interesting because the first thing I tell them, and I say it repeatedly, is, look, if you play for me, don't worry about making mistakes. All players make mistakes at all levels of the game. That's how we learn. The only time you have to worry with me is if it's lack of effort. Don't mail it in. Show me 100% on every shift, every time your skates touch the ice. Right? It's the same in life. Don't mail it in. 100% every time you're in the field of play. So I read this book called The Alter Ego Effect. And what it talks about is, in the game of life, creating an alter ego. An alter ego for when you step on your field of play, whether that's, the office, the classroom, the court, whatever it is that you do for a living. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, and every day you need to create that alter ego effect to face the day, to raise your kids, to clean the house, to drop off and pick up and cook dinner and clean the dishes and all those crazy things that stay-at-home parents have to do on a daily basis. And let me tell you, as a side note, my amazing wife, for most of our marriage, was a stay-at-home mom. Took care of, the kids, raised the kids, took care of the house. And I've had to step in her shoes and do it a few times, and damn, that's hard. There is no amount of money to be paid for the amount of work that is. That's a tough job. So, going back to how I started this, I'm not Superman. I've said it in other episodes. I'm not special. I'm just a guy who made a decision. I'm a guy who made a decision to get up off the mat and fight. Trust me, there are many days where I just want to lay down and cry and die and give up, but I won't. I won't, because I have a wife that needs me to show her an example. I have a son and a daughter and friends and family. And my message to you is, look, life is hard. It's not easy. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. If it was a sprint, everybody would be successful because it's really easy to stay on task and do things for a short period of time. It's when the excitement wears off, it's when the newness wears off that you stick with it, that you build habits, that you stay committed to it. And there will be times when you're tested. There will be times when the enemy, which is that voice inside your head, tells you, you don't have to go to the gym today. You know what? You could eat that piece of cake. Man, that donut looks good. You could drink that soda. It's fine. It's not. It's a decision. It's a decision, like I say in my opening, to live, to learn, to grow, and look at that person in the mirror every morning and love who you see because you know you're doing the things that you promised yourself you would do. It's not that hard, guys. We make it so difficult, and it's really not. We all have our kryptonite, right? We all do. For me, it was sweets. God, I love cake and donuts and cookies and candy. Sounds good just thinking about it. In some ways, I'm lucky because I developed a gluten intolerance, so I can't really eat it. And there are gluten-free alternatives. And I try to avoid them because I know that if they're in front of me, I want to eat them. Sometimes that's what it's about. It's just pure avoidance. Like if you know you can't say no, then just avoid it. Stay away from it until you can build up that muscle to where you can put it in front of you and say, no, I'm good. I don't need it. I can have a healthy alternative, right? So it's the little things. And I want you to hear from me that in my journey to hope, I struggle. I have down days. I have kryptonite in my life. I'm not Superman. I don't get up every day, dun, 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 with the S on my chest. But what happens is through my morning routine and through my meditation and through my journaling and through my cold shower, I build up to it. I build it in layers, and then I slip that S on my chest because I know that I've earned it, right? I look in the mirror and I feel it. I feel powerful. I feel I can go out and conquer the world for that day. But here's where I think the alter ego effect can really help all of us. And I learned a lot from reading it. I'm going to read it again because I don't know about you guys, but the way my brain works is that I need to go through things 2 or 3 times. First time I read it through and do some highlights. Second time I read it through and take notes. And then the third time I just read all of my highlights. And for me, that works. I know everybody has their own way to learn. But first and foremost, and look, I gave my team this assignment, which is create an alter ego for when they play hockey. And the best example is Superman, right? And in the book, he talks about this, and he says, whenever I give a speech, I ask everybody in the audience, so let's use Superman. Is the alter ego Superman or Clark Kent? Well, in Superman's case, he's from another planet. Clark Kent's his alter ego. He's allowed to put that suit on and slip on those glasses and become somebody else and live amongst human beings and learn about humans. That's his alter ego effect. So what I was trying to teach my players is, look, create somebody that's powerful, that when you show up to the rink, your fear and your anxiety and your stress and your nervousness goes out because you put on the uniform of your alter ego, right? In the book, he talks about Jerome, the Bus Bettis football player from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was his alter ego. Barry Sanders had his alter ego when he showed up to the football field. And it makes sense. And so you, first and foremost, you got to sit down and write down the attributes of who your alter ego is and why they're your alter ego. What do they possess? He talked about a pro tennis player that he was coaching, and in her life off the court, her whole life was about being fair and being, a nice person, which is great. That's how we all want to be, right? But it didn't work for her on the court in competition because she would get out to these big leads And then in her mind, she would start to say, you don't need to beat her that bad. You don't need to win by that much. And she would let off. And what would happen? The competition would come roaring back, and sometimes she would lose the match. So what they realized is they had to create an alter ego that left that part of her off the court, that she could return to as soon as the match was over. And, you know, it makes such perfect sense to have an alter ego, right? If you're in sales, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're a hairdresser, if you're an accountant, whatever it is, right? Create that alter ego for yourself, that when you show up to work. And here's what I love. He talked about a guy who was in the military, and he said, you know, his whole life is very regimented and very strict and rules and this and that. And he was having a really hard time when he came home at night to be with his family. He was having a hard time leaving that part of himself at the office. So they created an alter ego for him as dad. And that alter ego for dad was putting on certain clothes, putting on a baseball cap, right? And then he sat down and he wrote, like, who does he want to be when he becomes that alter ego? Who does that mean? What does that mean? How does he act? How does he react? All those things, all the traits that he wants to be, right? So I challenge you, sit down and do this. Create an alter ego. It's not for evil, it's for good. An alter ego that helps you when you have fear and when you have doubt, that you can put that on. You can become that person, I should say, and win at the game of life. The second step that he talks about is having a totem or artifact. You know, he uses Martin Luther King Jr. as an example. He used a pair of glasses. He had perfect eyesight, but he felt that the glasses made him more distinguished. And so when he slipped on those glasses, he felt powerful. That was his alter ego. The author talks about it. When he first got into coaching, he was young, and he felt like, I'm too young, nobody's going to take me seriously. And so he too used glasses as his alter ego effect, and his artifact, I should say, and put them on. And he felt different. It changed his whole mindset, his mannerisms, the way he acted. So that's important. And he talks about the act of powering up, right? Slipping on those glasses, or if it's a ring, or if it's, you know, one of his clients worked on Wall Street, and he said, you know, his alter ego was Batman. And he said, of course, he's not going to show up on Wall Street dressed as Batman. So his thing was he had to wear something black every day, a black tie, a black suit, a black shirt, something that was black so that he could be Batman on his field of play. And what he said is, really feel it. Physical and mental changes when you activate your alter ego. Like, really visualize it, feel it, become that person. Become that person. Here's what I really love, because he talks about when you really get into this, you're no matter what, and like I said, I'm not Superman, but what happens is the enemy is going to rear his ugly head, and the enemy is that voice inside your head. And what's the enemy going to say? It's going to try and pull you back into the shadows, which is where mediocrity lies, right? That's where we all say to ourselves, I can't do it. I don't deserve this. Why should I get this? Why should I be great at this, right? We hold ourselves back because it's the brain. What have I said in other episodes? Its number one objective is to protect us, to keep us alive. And so we're not on the savannas anymore. We're not running from saber-toothed tigers. Now it's fear of rejection. It's fear of job loss. It's financial fears. It's all those things, right? And we all have those moments. I don't care how tough you become, how awesome your morning routine is. We all have those moments where we say, am I in the right place? Am I making the right decisions? Am I doing the right thing? You know what? I'm not going to do that because it's just too scary. And he says, you have to develop ground punches. And he talks about these ground punches. And I know we all know who the Incredible Hulk is. And the Hulk smashes his fists into the ground. And what happens? It sends shock waves, right, throughout the ground. And so he says, develop 2 ground punches. One is the curb kick. It's a not here, not now moment where you put the enemy in its place, your head voice, right? Put that head voice, that voice inside your head to go away. Not here, not now. And then what you do is you remind yourself, you create what's called a proclamation, right? So first and foremost, ground punch is curb kick. No way. Not here, not now. I'm not listening to you. Get the hell out of here. Go away. I'm on my field to play. I am Superman in this moment. And then have what he calls as a response proclamation. Ground punch number 2. Who am I? To your head voice, to that voice in your head, who am I? I'm the son of a bitch who rose up off the ground after his 14-year-old daughter passed away. I'm the son of a bitch who gets up every morning and faces his greatest fears. I'm the one every day that gets up with a piece of my heart ripped out of my chest. So how dare you try and stop me with fear? Get out of here. Not here. Not now. No way. I'm going. I'm pushing. I'm getting to the top. See how it works? That's what I do. Every morning when I wake up and those doubts come into my head, or my brain says, stay in bed, curl into a ball, cover yourself up. Just sit here and soak in the misery and feel pity for yourself and be the victim. I say, not here, not now. No way. Get the hell out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Who am I? Who am I? I'm the person that had to see his lifeless daughter laying in the ER. I'm the person that had to see his daughter laying in a casket while family members came to pay their last respects. That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm the person that leads my family out of the darkness every day. I'm the one who sets an example for my son to get up and rise above the pain of what he experienced on February 8th, 2018. That's who I am. So get out of here. Not here, not now. Have fun with this. I know that was intense, but have fun with this. Have fun with creating your alter ego. We all need it. There's moments of fear for all of us. There's moments where we feel like we can't do it. And we've all heard that saying that, the moment when we quit is when we're the closest. That's when we're the closest to success. It's right there. Create your alter ego for your playing field. I promise you it works. I've just gotten started in this, and as I continue to grow with it, I will share it with you. Remember, have your totem, your artifact. He talked about this kid who was a basketball player on his way to the NBA, and he came to him because he was struggling. And basically, he created, his character was the Black Panther. And what he did was, with a towel, he would basically, before every game, go through a certain ritual as he wiped his face, and he would imagine slipping on a Black Panther mask, like Spider-Man slips on his mask. And he would become the Black Panther. So again, as I always say, sports are an amazing teacher for life. They teach us so many skills and so many things about life. Create your alter ego. I would love for you guys to share with me some of the things that you come up with. It doesn't have to be the name of your alter ego, but maybe some traits. I would love to see it. You can put comments on the Facebook page, on my Instagram, or my website, myjourneytohope.com. And I would love to see it. Last thing I want to leave you with is this. I'm reading another book now written by Seth Godin. It's called Linchpin. And I think the reason that I bring it up, or I know the reason I bring it up, is that there's some real importance to it. He talks about, as technology improves, if somebody can tell you how to do your job, you're replaceable. He uses radiologist as an example. He says, it takes 12 years to go to school to become a radiologist. And what happened is once x-rays were made digital, they found that they could send them overseas and have them read for, less money. And now what they're finding is that computers can read those x-rays even better than humans. So now you've become replaceable. And he says, you've got to become, in your industry, whatever it is you do, a linchpin, irreplaceable, the best at what you do. And I think that speaks true for all of us today. I'm in finance and sales. It's the same for me in my industry. I've got to become a linchpin because there's a lot of big technology companies that are gunning for me. They're trying to take my job. And it's only going to get more difficult. And I don't say this to scare you, but be a linchpin. Be a linchpin in whatever it is you do. Be the best that you can be. Don't forget the power list. Those 5 things that are a must every day. Those critical items that you must get done that gets you to the next step of your life. Get those wins. Win the day. Take action now. And I just want you to remember this. I'm humbled by all the comments that I get from friends, from family, from people that I've never met who listen to my podcasts. I'm not Superman. I'm just like you. I have struggles. I get up and put my pants on one leg at a time. I'm tired. I have long days. I get irritable. I get cranky. But I remember why I'm here, what I'm doing, what my mission is. So I don't look at one bad day or one off day as, here we go again. Now I'm slipping back into that old me. That's where this all ties together. That's that voice in your head. That's where you have those ground punches that we just talked about, right? There are many days when my wife and I sit and talk and cry and share tears. We have a pain that will never leave us. The pain of losing our daughter. Those of you that have children understand that we do everything we can to protect our children. It's the most important thing to us as parents. We see it in the animal kingdom. I think it was last summer, I don't remember, but an orca whale, her calf died, and she literally carried it around for days. For days. She couldn't let it go. It's no different. No one is supposed to bury their child. No one is supposed to lose their child. It's beyond comprehensible, the pain. But I choose to use that pain as fuel to push me forward, as fuel to set an example for my family, for my friends, and for my sweet baby girl who's in heaven. So go do your homework, just like my hockey team. Go create an alter ego. Go create that alter ego. Figure it out. Have fun with it. Get an artifact or a totem, something that symbolizes when you activate that alter ego. And I'll leave you with this. He says sometimes, even when you're in your alter ego, you're going to have moments where the enemy creeps in. So for him, he said, I would take off my glasses, have a little ground punch, slide them back on, and become that alter ego again. Have fun with it. Let's remember when we were kids and we put on a cape and we ran around the house and became Superman or Wonder Woman or whoever it is that you wanted to become. Right? Return to that. Return to that and have fun with it. I just want to thank you all for allowing me to have a voice. I want to thank you for allowing me to let my daughter have a voice. And to my beautiful, beautiful Gabriella, as I sit here in your room and I look at your clothes and all of your things, I just see your beautiful smile, that radiant, beautiful smile, and I feel the warmth of your heart. I love you, sweetheart.